Os. Welcome UNLV students to the Shotokan Karate Studies program. By now you should know you've already warmed up, you've gotten the warm-up that you feel your body needs, you're adequate for starting the program this morning. So let's go ahead and get started with our typical, quick, general warm-up. Ready? And Hajime. Ichi. Ni. San. Yon. Go. All right, warmed up good there. Let's turn to the side, bring our heels to our glutes. Good, all right. Let's go ahead and do some high knees as well. Get my workout recorded, here we go. High knees. You can do this slow, just like I'm doing. Again, just bringing your knees up. You can do it fast if you feel like kind of bouncing a little bit, working your calves a little bit. Or if you want to go slow, go slow. And yame. All right, let's come up on our toes, stretching out our calves. And yame. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and do some body hip twists. And yame. Good. Arm up, across the side, stretching out our shoulder. Good, other side. Again, don't hold these too long. Just doing dynamic stretches here. Nothing too static, nothing being held for too long. Switching over. Other side. Good. Feet just widen shoulder width. Go down, touch the floor. Go to the right. Back to center. Go to the left. Back to center. All right, make that a little wider. We're gonna go down to the right, turning up on our left heel, stretching out our hamstring. Good, now we're gonna turn to the left in a long front stance. Pushing on the quad here, pushing the knee over the toe. And down to a runner stand, or a runner stretch. Good. Back up. All right, we're gonna do everything to the other side now. Leaning to the left onto the right heel. Toes pointed up. Stretching out your hamstring. All right, let's rotate that all the way around. Good front stance, long, deep, pushing on the quad, pushing the knee out over the toe, getting a good stretch. Transition that into a runner stretch. And come back to center, come back standing. Good. Turn around, fix your gi. Back to me. Yoi. Subirachi. Free. Yoi. Seiza. Dojo-kun. 一つ、人格完成に人を盛ること。一つ、誠の道を守ること。一つと力の精神を養うこと。一つ、礼儀を重んずること。一つ、景気の湯を戒めること。Ready? That's it. よい。すばらしい。Ready? よい。Welcome to today's class. Today we're going to be going over the Bunkai for the kata Heian Nidan. Alright, so Heian Nidan is a somewhat beginner kata, I would say. You learn Heian Nidan as a yellow belt as you try to advance to orange belt. So I would call this a beginner class. Alright, so again, what we're going to do today is start off with going over the kata. So we'll practice the kata probably twice. Alright, so be prepared to do that and go over that with me. And then we're going to break down the kata into practical application. Alright, so we're going to actually do the bunkai for it. And I'll try to go through the entire kata for you, and then we'll talk about some things as far as Bunkai is concerned, and then we will close out class again going through the kata at least one more time, okay? So, all that said, let's go ahead and go through the kata, all right? Your own speed and pace, okay? I know this is a beginner class, but you should know the kata up to this point, so I'm not going to count out the kata for you. We're just going to go through it, like I said, at your own speed and pace. So take your time. If you want to watch me go through the kata the first time and then rewind and then go through it with me, that would be fine. But again, I just want you to make sure that you understand all the techniques, all the kihon that goes into the kata itself, as well as the timing that goes along with the kata. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and get started. So first, I want to make sure you have room whenever you come to Koshi Gamai here and you do your kick and your back twist. All right? So make sure you have that room to go to there, so you know where you're going to start. All right. And then the other thing I want to say is whenever you start the kata, you're not stepping into that back stance, right? You're not stepping into it, you're just sinking down into it and then rotating to get into the other back stance as you go the other direction. All right, so what I tend to see sometimes is people step into a really long, what looks like a back stance, but it's kind of a mix in between, because you're really not putting your weight back here anymore, right? You're kind of putting your weight on your front foot, but your feet are angled so that it looks like a back stance, right? But you're not really centering your weight properly. So just remember that too as you begin, that you're sinking down into your back stance for both sides. All right. All right, let's go through protocol together. Yoi, Subarachi. Ready? Yoi. Heian Nidan. And Hajime. Please. And yame. Good. Okay, so we've gone through the kata together, all right? We kind of understand what we're doing, the pattern, right? And then the kihon technique, all right? So now I want to talk about the bunkai, all right? And what I want to talk about before I get into the specifics of Heian Nidan is that Bunkai is your own interpretation, in this case my own interpretation, of the techniques, all right, that you're doing, the pattern that you're going in, right? So sometimes Bunkai won't look exactly like the kata itself, but it's very close. That's one. Two, kata doesn't always have to go in, or not the kata, but the Bunkai doesn't always have to go in a specific sequence, right? Like the kata. The kata goes in a very specific sequence. You're over here, and then you're over here, and then you're moving down this way, right? So sometimes kata is broken up into, I'm only handling one attacker, okay? And so you understand, well, I can use Heian Nidan for this situation as you go into defend against one attacker. And then you're done, right? You're not going through the whole kata and fighting, 5 people, and you're saying you're going to go into it and say, I'm going to do this with Heian Nidan, right? You're taking small portions of the kata and putting them into practice and putting them into a real life situation so that you can really understand how you would implement the things you're doing in Heian Nidan so that they make more sense to you whenever you do them. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. All right. So we'll start here. And I'm going to rotate just a little bit for you because the first move that you do in Heian Nidan is you sink into that back stance and you do this double block, this window pane block where your arm is up this way, your other arm is here. All right. But what we're going to do in a real life situation, someone is coming towards you in this direction and they're going to throw a right, like a haymaker style punch. That punch is coming right to your face, all right? What you're trying to do here is you see it coming from the side, is you're going to get in that back stance for what reason? To create distance, right? Anytime you get into a back stance, typically you're creating distance from your opponent. So you're creating distance, see how my weight is set back, and you're going to throw this arm to block that incoming haymaker, and this arm is a punch to the face. All right? Let's look at that from the attacker's perspective. Again, I see you there. I'm going to throw this punch. It's stopped here by my fist. As I move, my face is wide open at this point as you come in and punch directly here, all right? Any way on the face, all right? Do you see where that makes sense? So you see the attack coming, and I still am in this position. So sometimes whenever you do the kata, Heian Nidan, it's not you don't have to lock it into this. You can, and there are styles that do it that way. So if you feel like you want to do it that way because it makes more sense or it feels a little bit better, do that. All right, so this is still acceptable, and this is what you're doing in the Bunkai. All right, and let's talk about the angle, right? So whenever you're throwing this block, you want this angle to be greater than 90 degrees, because if it's here, it's easy to defeat, right? If that haymaker is being thrown and you're here, that punch is probably already here, and it's easy to defeat it, and you're not going to be able to push back with as much force. If you meet that punch out there with your arm greater than 90 degrees, you have a little bit more force. It's harder for them to crush this, right, as opposed to it already being here and being crushed. 1. 2, distance. If you're stopping the arm out here, that fist is only about here, right? So there's an advantage to when you start the kata, and again, if you wish to start the kata this way, to go out a little bit further with that arm. All right, completely your choice. All right, so let's get back to it. So the attacker is coming in, you're going to throw the block and the strike. What's the next thing we do in the kata? This arm comes down, and this arm goes back out for a hammer fist. Okay? So we blocked here. Now we're going to grab that arm, grab whatever clothing that you can grab. Okay? That punches out here. It's been blocked, struck here in the face. you're going to grab whatever you can grab. All right? So again, there, grab. As you grab the arm, you're going to pull into hikite, right? This is your hikite hand. Pull it into hikite, strike with that hammer fist. Okay? That is your opening sequence. You start, and then you rotate. So this is your opening sequence right here, all in one. One attacker. Okay? So again, it's simply blocking, striking, grab the arm or the clothing, and strike again. All right? So you're getting in a number of strikes to their one. As they come in for that punch, blocked, strike, you're grabbing the arm, pulling it in, and as you pull in and move in that direction, that hammer fist comes straight across. Okay, straight across their face again. All right, so you get 2 good strikes to their face, to their one punch. Right, they're throwing that one strike, blocked, strike, arm is pulled, struck again. All right, and you could take them off balance and completely dump them at that point too. Depends on where your leg is and where their legs are. Right, if you're doing one grab, you could go straight across your leg. It depends on how close your opponent is and they move in. So again, this is something that you can easily practice with someone, right? If you have a partner available, have them do this, right? Try this. The punch comes, that's your attack. You're simply moving in with that block and punch, grab the arm, decide at this point, where are your feet, where are their feet? If you're behind their leg, you can dump them, because you still have their hand here, right? You pulled their arm in for that strike, so you have control. You can dump them, or it's just a strike, and you let go and move away. Or you dump them across your leg, maybe strike again, and move away. All right, again, what we're looking for is a way to counter an attack and get away. Defend, counterattack, make sure you're okay, escape. So that's what we've done. Now you just turn and do the same thing on the other side. So there's really no difference in the bunkai that happens here, right? You're just doing it, instead of a right haymaker, it's coming from the left, right? Grab the arm, strike, or dump across. The only thing you're showing here is that you can do it on both sides. All right, you can do both right here. Maybe there's 2 attackers. So you've moved in one, grab, strike, another attacker is coming. You can move that direction with your back stance, correct? You see someone else coming with the left haymaker. Again, sorry. There, you see it coming. So you're going to move in, block, strike, grab. All right, everything can move in one direction. It doesn't have to go back and forth. So that's kind of what I was talking about at the beginning with Bunkai. Everything doesn't have to go, now I'm moving here and then I have to move here. Okay, you're just showing in the kata that you can do both sides. That's what it's about. All right. Okay, so the next thing you do is your hands come to this koshigamai and you do a side kick and a back fist at the same time, landing in a Shotokan. All right, so let's look at that. So we're on this side, right? So now you're looking at that left punch coming in. Okay, you don't want to throw this for whatever reason. So now you have that left punch coming in. You're standing here, you see the attack coming, you're going to defend quickly, arm goes up, striking the bicep, bringing the arm in control down to your side. Okay, so let's look at the attacker now. You're standing there, I'm going to attack, it gets blocked, your other arm strikes, punches the bicep, which is a nerve point. It's going to weaken the body as you punch there, opening up this entire portion of their body. All right. So what are you going to do now? Block, control, strike, bring it into Koshigamai. All you're doing is making sure you have control of the arm. Low kick to the knee and back fist against this side of the neck. That's going to drop your opponent. Those two nerve points hit at the same time, put a shockwave through your body. It's going to weaken the body, and because you've hit their knee, they're going to want to go to the ground. Okay, so again, let's look at the attacker. I see you standing. I'm going to throw this punch. It's defended. Punch to my bicep here. Kick goes to my knee, and then the back fist right here. Let's look at it a little bit better so you can see it. All right, so here I am. I'm going to attack. I go for the punch. Blocked. Arm gets pulled down and in, striking the bicep. You're pulling me in. Kick goes to the knee. Back fist to the side of the face, or right here in the neck. All right, this area right here, again, very vulnerable to that back fist. Striking right in here in that carotid. Okay, I know we talk about that a lot. So striking in that carotid, there's a lot of nerves that go here, that go right up to your brain. Okay, whenever you strike that, it gets you're interrupted. Right, the nerves, the messages being sent to your brain are interrupted. Striking there can make your body just go limp. Even if it's just for a millisecond, right? A half second. Striking there and then moving up and away will make your opponent think twice about standing up and attacking again. Let's look at it one more time. I'm going to come to you. So that right punch is coming. Block, strike, pulling into Koshigamai. If you want to come and bring it to the side, you can. This goes back to the beginning when I said it doesn't have to look exactly like the kata, but it looks very similar, right? We come to Koshigamai, we kick out and move to this Shotokan. As you come my direction, you want to block, strike, control, low kick, back fist. At the same time, you can do that as well, because that's what you do in the kata. Punch is coming, block, strike, kick, and strike at the same time. So again, if you're able to do this with a partner, you can kind of see what happens with that opening. Okay? Once you have that arm in control and you struck that bicep, if you want to turn, you're going to turn your opponent too. Right? If you start to turn, their arm is not putty, so if there's a bone there. If you start to turn, they're going to turn. That's going to open up that knee a little bit further, where you can kick and again strike right here in the side of the neck, side of the face. There's your entire beginning of the kata Heian Nidan. Okay, so we've gone from, again, we've done okay. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Shutokes. Shutokes are highly prevalent in this kata. So let's look at it, because a lot of it's going to be repetitive. All right, I don't want it to be super repetitive, but we're going to go through a couple things. All right, so next thing you do is 3 Shutokes and then a Nukete strike. Okay, so the first thing you're doing is a block. So the punch is coming. Okay, you're just stepping back and blocking. Control the arm, and then step forward and a chop against that carotid artery. All right, dump that opponent. Another one is coming, same, Shutoken. Up and over the arm, control the arm, and then you can palm heel strike to the face, the chin, the throat, or if you want to stick with that Nukete, right in here, do this opening in the clavicle, the throat here on the side, or a grab right here around the windpipe. Sorry, I grabbed myself a little hard there. Or a grab around the windpipe. So you have a lot of options there, but it's going to depend on how your opponent is reacting to what you're doing. And I went through that rather quickly, so let's go through it again. Someone is coming this direction with a right block, control, strike to the carotid. Dump that opponent. The other person is coming straight to you again. Block, control the arm, right? And then strike. Palm heel, throat grab, nukite. A couple of different options there. Let's look at it as your opponent coming towards you. All right, I'm going to come in, punch gets blocked, arm gets controlled. Look what opens up. There's where your chop is. Dump that opponent. All right, the next opponent now comes. Same thing. Right punch, blocked, arm is controlled. Nukite can come. All right, so you can grab the throat. You can go palm heel, pushing your opponent back. All right, so it can be a strike that goes fast. It can be that nukite that drives in. So you have a couple of different options there, and you just have to make that decision based on how your opponent reacts. Right? Whenever you throw in this shuto and you're controlling that arm, right? You've controlled the arm, or you're just pushing it over to the side. How does their body react? Okay, if I punched and it's blocked, and then it gets controlled, do they stand right back up to this? Do they dump down to this? Right? It depends on how effectively you can control that arm. Right? So after that shuto-uke, you drop your hand under their arm and come up over the top of it. Do you just grab? So you shuto, grab, palm heel, nukite, again, throat grab, whatever you want to do there. So again, it just depends on how what you decide to do. You blocked, either you're going to do the control where it comes across and you're probably going to bend your opponent that way, or shuto, grab, nukite, palm heel. So a couple of different options there, right? Now you turn. And I believe I talked about this with Heian Shotokan, but typically when you do a turn, you're probably doing a throw. All right, in a kata, typically if you're going to do a turn, you make that a throw because it's easy, right? It just makes sense. There's no reason to rotate into an opponent's attack, right? So after this nukite here, there's really, if someone's coming right there with a punch, you would just probably step back instead of turning into that shuto-uke. That's my opinion. All right, so maybe if you're doing bunkai for this, you're coming up with something, maybe it makes sense for you to turn into that punch. But in my opinion, if I've done this nukite and I see someone coming with a punch, I'm going to step here. I'm not going to turn into it. All right, I'm not trying to close distance to step into a strike or a knife or a broken bottle, whatever happens to be coming that direction. I want to step away from it so that I can more easily assess what's happening. Okay, so you've got control. So you've done your nukite here, control, palm heel to the face. Your hand is right here by their face. Even if you've done the nukite or you've done the throat grab, hold on, turn and dump to the floor. Okay, now you're doing exactly what's happened in the kata. Right, we've done the nukite, and we've turned into that shuto. Nukite, instead of doing the shuto though, nukite, throat grab, dump to the floor. Right, again, nukite, control, so you have control of the arm, palm heel strike, side of the face, dump to the floor. Hip, again, we talked about hip movement and hip drive. That's exactly what this is. All right, from here, control, strike, drive your hips to make this turn. Okay, driving those hips, rotating those hips quickly, and pivoting gives you a lot of driving force to be able to make that move work. Okay? All right, so we dropped them to the floor. And then you're just doing another block. So another opponent potentially coming this direction. Block, you can do whatever you want from here. You've done the block, you can control and come straight across. You can do the block, control, nukete. All I'm saying is with the bunkai, every single technique doesn't have to be accounted for. And this is how I'm accounting for this portion. Right, so we've gone through this entire little section, right? Block, strike, move on to the next. Coming, block, control, strike, turn. And if you want, block, block. Now you're going back in this direction with the same thing. All right, so we've done this part. You can forget that one shuto if you want, because now we're turning back in this direction. You see that punch coming, block, control, right? I hate to turn my back to you like that. So, so we've dumped our opponent there, shuto. Now we turn, block, control, and it turns into a strike. So the ridge hand is both a block and a strike. All right, that shuto is a block and a strike. Depends on how you employ it, right? You're turning here to block, your hand is more vertical. Block that arm, get control of it. Then you're moving in and it's more knife. It's more horizontal as you pull in and strike against that carotid. Because that's what's going to be wide open, right? If I'm your opponent and I'm coming in with a punch, you've blocked it with your shuto, and now you're going to step in. This is all open. Chopping here to the side of the carotid if you can. If they're looking right at you, chopping right across their face is perfectly fine. All right. This part of your hand is a lot. It's a good side strike, right? It's better than breaking your hand with your fists. So again, as you grab and make that strike. All right, so that covers this entire section. There's 4 shutos. Like I said, very repetitive because you're doing 3 here, nukete, and then 4 more shutos. So you decide how you like to break that up. Like I said, for me, I like the shuto, palm heel, dump, forget about that one. You see someone coming this way, shuto, grab, chop. All right. Now you're coming back to center. Or we move back down this way with our, there's a string of keyhole techniques here. Let's go through them. So we've taken care of this person. We move back to here with the uchi-uke, kick, punch, another block, kick, punch, and a block. Okay. This can be one opponent. It can be more than one opponent. You decide. Work with someone if you can. All right, so there. This person is coming in with a punch. Going to block, grab the arm, control, moving it up and around, and then the kick, and then the punch that drops that person, that opponent, that attacker. Look at it again. You're over there. You're back to here. Okay, you've already dropped this person, you're now moving to here. And again, this doesn't have to be you're dropping 3 to 4 people at a time. You can just be standing here and a person is coming straight to you with a punch. Block, control the arm, kick, punch. What does that look like for your opponent? We're going to come straight to you. I'm going to throw this punch, it gets blocked, up and over, right? This is what we do. As we come around, we make it a block, right? But you can just come up and around, block, control up and over, and then the kick and then the punch. Again, as your opponent, blocked, up and over, kick, punch. Most likely that guy's done. Okay, so again, you see it coming, the punch, block, grab, control over and over to the side, kick, punch. Okay, that's your block, kick, punch sequence. Right? In the kata, it looks like this. All right, everything is moving in this direction. All right, in the bunkai that I just explained, instead of coming this, it's block, grab, control, kick, punch. That person is now moved out of the way. That person's done with their fight. You're done, you can back up, assess the situation, move forward if you would like. Okay, from the punch. Right, so from the punch. So now we're doing another kick. I'm trying to think. Kick, punch, block. All right, so now you're looking at another right hand punch coming your way. There's your punch. Now you're doing a uchi-uke block. I want you to think about it in a different way. Punch, you see the punch coming in from here. Again, up and over. Right? Kick, punch, control the arm, hold, and dump over. All right, so let's look at it again. Block, control up and over, kick, punch. Now you're set up, all right? Now but you're in a different stance, right? You're in a right stance, okay? The punch. Block, kick, punch, and then it comes up with that Maroto Uke on the other side. So, again, this is something that you're going to decide on how you want to handle this. You can be done here, right? You can be done and just say this was one opponent where you blocked, where you controlled, kick, dropped that opponent. That's a big part of the kata, right? We've gone through, done all of our Shotoukes, but typically it's here. Block, control, kick, punch, right? And again in the kata, kick, punch. Now you move into this block. Right? And then a kick, and then a punch. It's basically the same thing twice, but left and right. Okay, the first time you did it, block, control of the arm as it moves over, kicked, punched. Another opponent may be coming. Block, control, kick, punch, still have control, moving forward, dump them across. All right, I'll come straight to you. Let's go through both opponents, okay? The first one, block, control, kick, punch, drop that person, they're out of the way. The next one is coming, block, control, kick, punch, Maroto Uke, still controlling here, step between their legs or behind them, dump. Yes? So there's your sequence. Now let's look at the kata. Kick, punch, kick, punch. Okay? So essentially what you're doing here is taking on two opponents, or you're breaking up two separate things. All right, someone's throwing a right haymaker, block, control, kick, punch. Now you're in a right stance, somebody's throwing a left haymaker. Now that left punch is coming in. Block, control, kick, punch, dumping them across your leg. All right, that Maroto Uke doesn't have to be a block. It can be momentum as you take your arm across to dump them across your leg. All right? So hopefully that makes pretty good sense. Okay, the next thing you do is a turn, right? Turn with gate on, Age Uke rising block. And you do it twice. Like I said,
A lot of what you're doing in this kata, you do it on the left and you do it on the right. Move down the center. You do it on the left, you do it on the right. Come back to center. Move down against a right punch, block, defend. Now a left punch, block, defend, right? Continue to move. And then you go here to the left, right. Right? So everything you're doing in this kata is just a mirror. You're going back and forth. So that's what we're doing here. All right. So, Maroto Uke, we've dumped our opponent. And now we're going to make that turn. Now it doesn't have to be, again, we're breaking up the Kihon techniques of the kata. Either you dumped your opponent with this, okay, or you've done the same thing you did the first time, right? We blocked, around, kick, punch. It's coming again here, block, kick, punch. Another opponent is coming. All right? Before they can get their attack off, you're stepping in across their face, grabbing them for that turn. Like I said, typically when there's a turn, there's a throw. Okay? So we've dumped these two opponents using the same three techniques. Block, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. These two are done. Now an opponent is coming straight to you. Again, getting ready to throw that punch. Before they can throw it, you're going to step in against their jaw. All right? Even into their chest area, right? You see that punch coming, you're going to step in as close as you can, leg potentially right in between theirs, and throw that Maroto Uke, which is potentially a strike. Okay? Someone's coming straight at me, I can block. I can grab the arm and throw that side hammer fist again to the jaw. Okay? So again, your final opponent here, or this opponent in the line, throwing. Before they can get that throw off, or maybe they already have, block with one hand, strike with the other. Block, strike. Okay? Block, strike. You have control. This hand, grabbing their lapel, their shoulder, the side of their head, and dump. This looks like your gato. And then you move to strike or block another opponent. Again, you don't have to account for every single technique when you're going through Bunkai. This is just typically what can happen. And then you do it again on the other side. Okay? So we've done, so we've come to here. There's the gaton, which is not, in our case, we're not doing the gaton. Block, strike, grabbing the side of the face, grabbing the shoulder, dump that opponent. Another opponent potentially is coming. Strike, block. Because it doesn't have to be a block, right? You can throw your arm straight across this area, the chest, across the neck. As you see something moving in, this entire blade, this ridge of your arm, is a very rigid, sharp part of your arm, goes across their body to move them back. Okay? And then you're turning again into gaton. And again with that block. If you want to turn it into an opponent, one single opponent, they're coming from this direction with their, whatever it happens to be, up, you can grab the arm, reach, and control to the floor. Okay, if that's what you want to do, if that makes more sense in the Bunkai for you. Okay, so again, just because we're going through this and pretending there's multiple attackers, doesn't mean there are multiple attackers. It can just be one attacker, right? I can stand right here, and an opponent's coming, I'm going to say, oh, block, kick, punch, right? That opponent's coming with the exact same attack. Okay? That opponent's coming with the exact same attack. Okay? What makes sense to you is what makes sense to you, but you're basically looking at one single attack, that big haymaker, which is what typically happens anytime you're in a fight, right? Right-handed people, which is a majority of people, are going to come and attack you with a right punch. You have multiple ways to defend that from this one kata, right? Block, strike, koshigamai, kick, and back fist. Okay? Block, rotate, kick, strike. All right? Multiple ways to do the same thing. And that's what, again, you're looking at here. And we looked at this, you can truly extend, right? If you want the beginning portion, or as they're coming with that same, your block, grab, control, dump, right? There's many ways that you can look at Bunkai and expand upon it, right? Just because we did this and here doesn't mean you have to stop here. If you still have control of their arm and their body, what else do you want to do? Dump that opponent, right? You want to control the arm from here into a power position where you now have control and you're holding them in place. So experiment with that if you can, right? If you have an opponent or you have someone that you can practice with, not an opponent, a partner that you can practice with, try all these different things, right? They come in and throw that punch. Block, strike, grab, strike. You have this arm. What do you want to do with it? Right? Do you want to step in again and dump that opponent? Do you want to grab and hold control? What makes more sense? Okay? So think about all those things, right? The block that turns into this. Kick, right? Maybe you don't have room for that kick. Maybe this is too high because of the way they're bent over. You want to turn it into a low kick to the knee. And then punch as they make their way to the floor. You have control. Even if your hand is not wrapped around their wrist or their forearm, you have control of the sleeve. You have control. All right? So again, this block and this, whether it's grabbing the sleeve, grabbing the arm and holding control with the wrist or the forearm, grabbing a portion of their clothes makes good sense as well. Low kick, punch to the face. So it's a great way to explore things with an opponent, with your partner if you can. Say what makes more sense for the attack that's coming my way. What makes more sense for someone who's shorter than me? What makes sense for someone who's taller than me? So, I mean, it's a good reason to kind of get into a dojo and practice with various people. Typically when I would do this, I would pair people up and then switch. And then have them go through it a couple times and switch. And we'd work on each portion of that Bunkai that I've just gone through. And you going through it with different heights, different weights. So you kind of understand what it looks like for someone who's taller, thicker, smaller, thicker, skinnier, whatever it happens to be. More muscular. Can I control if this is coming? Oh, that's not working. I can't make this happen. Okay? So what do? Well, you stop the punch from coming, their body's wide open. How about a round kick to the chest or the face or the groin? Side kick, take out that knee, drop that opponent to the floor. Right? It doesn't have to be strictly kata all the time, but the Bunkai helps explain the reason that you're doing the kata and vice versa. Right? I want to learn how to employ these techniques. Why am I doing this? Right? Or I've just kind of hopefully shown you why you're doing a lot of those techniques and how you can employ them and they make more sense. Because I do get a lot of students who ask, what is this? Yes, we go through it in Kumite. You step back and it's a block, and step back and it's a block. Okay? But employ it as this block and strike. Block and strike. Okay? Alright, hopefully you got some good information out of this class. I appreciate you joining me for it. Let's come together. Yoi! Mr. Brach. Right? Yoi. Seiza. Alright, today's meditation, just go through the kata in any way you choose, whether it's going through the kata itself or trying to employ some of the bunkai that I've explained today. Maybe you can go through the entire kata with that in mind, okay? Mokusho. Mokusho yame, sensen yure. Tate. Yoi. Subirachi. Right. Yoi. Os. Alright, thank you students for joining me for this class on Bunkai for Heian and Nidan. I think we're going to do more of these just because I really enjoy breaking down kata and kind of giving you a reason to understand the Kihon techniques and what the practical application could be. So again, stay tuned, watch some more videos with me as you go through the other kata, where we tend to start breaking them down into the bunkai, just giving you a better understanding of practical application. All right? Thanks for joining me for this class. We'll see you in the next one. Os.